Neil Robinson, and I just thought I'd go through our basic defensive structure that we're going to start the year with. Again, like some of the other systems, we may adjust and adapt as the year goes on, but we're going to start fairly basic and make sure the fundamentals are in position before we move forward. I always teach players to think about the game in terms of four kind of quadrants in that um, defensive zone. And so ultimately, if we divide the ice up, it's a little bit sloppy, but that'll work. We should have a defender on either side of in their own little pocket there, and then we should have position players in each side, and then we should have a centerman. I'm going to draw him in a minute. Okay, to begin with, I want to just work through a couple of scenarios. So let's say they're working the puck and it's down here in the corner. What we should expect is that D2 has that corner covered. So it's his job to put pressure on that puck, and D1 obviously is going to look after the front of the net and be available for an option this way if it presents itself. That also means that the right wing should be nice and low inside that circle. He should be able to see the defender that he is responsible for in this top corner, but he should also make sure that any player that is coming out of this corner can't get through in this low area of the slot. He should have his stick that way, protect that way with his eyes, just every once in a while checking to make sure there's no guy coming into the slot here from the point. Okay. The one difference that I emphasize early on is that normally I would say this guy should come to the middle, but that's not true. I actually want him stronger than that. And he should have his head on a swivel. Obviously, he's going to have to know where his defender is, but also he's responsible for any kind of high forward that's up in this area that likes to hang around, just like the offense that we would run. Okay. Now, oftentimes you will see this player, the weak side winger, he can be called as, over here. A lot of teams do this, and that's because they like a fast break or something like that. But in my mind, it actually sets this player up, the weak side winger, for failure. Because what happens if the puck ends up coming the other way and it moves this way, and RD gets on that puck and he's looking for an outlet, this guy gets here early and is then stationary for any opposing D to come down and hit him. Okay, so what I find is if they start here, they can read the play and they can either use a lot of speed and get an outlet pass and their feet are in motion, or if they need to, they can come high looking for that quick pass and come down and receive and help if they need to from that top down kind of position. And the reason I really like that, so if he goes this motion, is because that player can then control the puck and can button hook right out of here and head out. Okay. If we stay as a tight four-man unit down there, we should have lots of help from the center support. So let's bring him in before we go any further. Okay, so I'm going to move a couple things back just so we can kind of review. The puck is over here with D2 or some type of thing, and we'll move our left winger back as well in the strong area. That center is basically a defensive conscience for the team, and his job is to create what I call defensive 2-on-1s. So he should look for every opportunity possible to be tight to the puck in the defensive zone and support, if I move the correct object here, there we go, support this guy. So if they have one forward down there, we now have an odd person play and we can quickly move the puck and get it out of here, and this person can swing and we're off and running. This guy's now the weak side and he can go and he can go, right? So going D to D breaks most offensive structures if teams are not on top of things. So this player now should be able to escape that puck and have options to pass to. Okay, those passes now should create a turnover. We should have that. The best pass would be this, the most obvious, but we also have the quick little center support if they're trying to take away the boards. D1 should have options if we're on our game. Okay, taking that back just a minute, you should see now that players should be working as a tight five-man unit. And wherever the puck goes, we should end up with lots of pressure on that puck. We don't want to be passive in our own zone. Let's say, for whatever reason, that puck gets switched and they're going to work on us and they're cycling and we're feeling the pressure a little bit. So the puck comes over here. We should expect D1 to put pressure here. Center has to stay nice and low and support. It used to be back in the old days that the center would be nice and high. Think Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. They'd play high in that zone. This guy should be off the wall and skates facing the wall so that he can see his defender over here and be able to keep his stick in the lane right here. And again, this guy comes strong side, looking to take away any F3, high slot shots, and watch this as well. So he's quite responsible. And you can see we have a nice, tight defensive structure here. Okay, the goal is to be super aggressive, and we need our centermen to be really thoughtful and really aggressive at stealing pucks on defensive 2-on-1s. It's terrific if D1 and their attacker are engaged in a battle, because I expect our center to get in there first, pull that puck out, and with any kind of skill, should be able to then move with that puck and get rid of it and start the attack. Okay, come around, which means this guy would swing, and it would be great this year if our defenders can read these plays, like D2 in this situation, and join that rush. Okay, I would love for that to happen. If you've seen the other video around offensive systems, we rely on our players playing as a five-man unit in all three facets of the ice, not just in the defensive or in the offensive zone.